Yeah, so have your blocks at the top of the mat, on your mat to start. And then we'll actually start on your backs. Lay down like you're going to sleep into Shavasana. So lay down on your backs. Actually, sometimes when I lay on my back, I like to use my block under my head like a little pillow, but not underneath the neck. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So if you're going to do that, then obviously one block would stay at the front, one would come with you. Okay. And I started doing this years ago when my neck was bad, but then I kind of continued with it because I like how it supported my body. So you don't place it so it's under the neck. It's kind of like at the base of where the cervical spine and the head meet. So just enough there. So your back of your head is there and your neck is free, okay? Start in a legs out, wide, palms face open. And I want you to like literally use the back of your palms, lift your hips up, and then slide yourself down. So your whole spine melts into the ground. Your neck is neutral. And if the thing underneath the head doesn't work for you, then obviously dump it. But I just always like throwing out different ways to kind of find the poses, feel the poses. And then sometimes the execution is just slightly different. Let the feet wrap and turn open. Take a giant breath in through your nose. And then exhale, press it all out. Good. And then bring your feet all the way together. And hug your right knee in towards your chest and just pause. But I want you to really give it a good squeeze. So now as you squeeze your right knee in towards your chest, I do want you to feel like a lubrication of your hip. But I want you to flex your left foot so the calf stays down. And just pay attention that your shoulders aren't like creating tension. So let the shoulders kind of slide down the floor. Draw the lower belly in, and you're just hugging your right knee towards your navel. It doesn't feel like much is happening, but just make this connection. It's simple yet effective, okay? Just breathe. And you can give as much or as little as you need right here in this pose and throughout the entire practice. That's the beauty of this. And then just extend the right leg straight and hug your left knee in, give it a squeeze. The same thing goes. And you'll notice if one side's a little tighter, a little weaker, sometimes you roll a little to one side. You want to find neutral. Flex the right calf strong. So just you stay grounded. And then draw the left knee in, squeeze it. And when you draw it in, see if you could just kind of pull it a little to the outside of the rib. Let the shoulders relax and just lubricate right here, that hip. And then let it go. And then you're just going to draw the right knee up and we're going to float the left calf. So we're just going to kind of bicycle our legs. The head is elevated, with the block, but I want you to lift your shoulder blades. So take your palms flat, lift the shoulder blades, but press the lower back down. So you're really zipping up your abdominal wall. So we're thinking small movements with our core today, okay? So press down, the shoulders are lifted and the right knee is just drawing in. And then you're going to go ahead and switch. So you're just going to feel your lower back press, the lower belly pull into the back of the spine, and then you're just going to pedal it out. And you're going to switch. Now, your head could be completely lifted up off the ground if you want, but I'm using the block just so I don't go into the neck, go into the spine, and you're just going to pedal it out here. The slower you move, the more annoying it's going to be, but the more you're probably going to feel. So just keep pedaling it out. Yep. Just moving the right leg, moving the left leg, drawing it in. But at the same time, you're activating the center line of your body. You're activating your core. Small movements. Keep going. If you feel nothing, you have to lift your shoulder blades. So Katie, just draw the right knee in, outside of rib, just like we started, and just keep repeating that just to open the hip. Or you can do half happy baby to avoid any core work. So if you're not doing core work today, half happy baby, right leg and then left leg. Keep going, pedal it out. Good. And then slow it down, slow it down, slow it down, slow it down, slow it down. Take the feet flat to the ground, reach your arms forward and pause. Same thing, activate your core. The shoulders are lifted, the feet are rooted. Lift your legs on an angle that works for you. Keep the shoulders lifted, scoop up the belly, take the feet flat to the floor, pause, keep the lift of the shoulders. You're gonna stay kind of in an up position. Legs lift on an angle, lower the feet, anchor the feet, zip up the core, pause. 2 more. Lift the legs on an angle, lower the feet, zip up and feel. Feel your core draw in. Just kind of squeeze. Lift the legs on an angle, take the feet flat to the floor, squeeze the core. Pull yourself all the way up. Cross the ankles. This is where I would just kind of bring the blocks with you so they're at the top of the mat for later. Come to a tabletop position. Sink the spine down and look forward. Exhale, round and look in. Good. Sink the spine down and look forward. Basic cat and cow. Exhale, round and look in. One more. Sink the spine down and look forward. Exhale, round and look in. Come to flat back tabletop position. Extend the right leg back into the mat like a half plank. Yeah. Reach the left arm forward. So the left arm is forward and the right leg is grounded into the mat. The center line of your body is finding a nice neutral position. Make sure your chin isn't jutting forward. Your neck is neutral. Float the right leg up so it's opposite arm and opposite leg are reaching in opposite directions here. Reach the left arm back and then go ahead and bend at the knee crease and see if you can get hold of your ankle. If you can't, you just create the shape and don't stress too much about it. Steer the chest forward. Fire up that right thigh, press the right palm down, and breathe. Front line of the body is getting a nice opening. The stretches the psoas, the hip flexor. Release the arm and the leg in opposite directions. Feel right here. Hand and knee come down to the ground. Curl the left toes into the mat, just pause. Fire up that thigh so it's like a half plank. Keep the toes curled to start. Reach the right arm forward. Yeah, activate right here and then float the leg up and just stay in space. So just feeling that body alignment, feeling the plugging of the left palm, activation of that left tricep. Reach the right arm back, bend it to the left knee crease and see if you can get hold of your foot or your ankle. Once again, if it doesn't work for today, just create the strong shape. Steer the chest forward. If you're able to get hold of your ankle, flex your foot. It's going to give you a little more. Steer the whole front side of the body forward. Flex that foot so you can activate that psoas, that front line. Utilize your breath, Ujjayi breathing. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your nose. Release the arm and the leg in opposite directions. Extra juicy space today. Hand and knee come to the ground. Slide the hands a little bit more forward. Curl the toes into the mat. Lift up to down dog. Pedal out your feet a couple times in downward facing dog. Take up a lot of space on your mat. Hands are firm into the ground, index fingers are forward. Creases of the wrist face forward. And then find neutral when you're ready to just pause. Soften behind your knees, spread your toes. Breathe your hips way up off your shoulders. Yeah. Let your head just be free. You got it. Oh boy. Katie's got some fun going on. She's got the dog and her daughter climbing underneath the down dog. This is going to really test your dristi. Yes, roll forward to plank. Lead with your chest. Yeah. Your eyes fixed to the front skinny edge of the mat. That's a great dristi point. Awesome. Activate the sides of your arms. A little micro bending your elbows is generally helpful just so we don't hyperextend. Draw the pit of the belly in and up. Rock your weight all the way forward. So you're really far forward onto your tippy toes. You know, then you find your sweet spot. Drop your knees down so they're on an angle. Keep the toes curled this morning. Lower halfway to a supported push-up. Re-straighten your arms to a supported plank. Do this slow. Halfway to a supported push-up. Re-straighten your arms, supported plank. We're doing 5. Lower halfway, supported push-up. Move slow. Re-straighten your arms, supported plank. You got 2 more to go. Halfway to a supported push-up. The slower you go, the more you feel. Straighten your arms. 1 more. Halfway to a supported push-up. Straighten your arms. Lift the knees so you're in plank. Activate the entire line of your body. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Exhale all the breath out. Look to the top of the mat. Take 2 big steps to get there this morning, or 20 if you feel tight. Long spine on the inhale. If your hamstrings are tight, you can have your hands to your shins. Have the blocks at the top. Sometimes it's helpful. Exhale, fold into yourself. Let your head go. Root to rise, come all the way up. Drag it to prayer. Drop your arms. You could practice with your feet a little separated this morning if you care to. Arms go straight up towards the sky. You can look up a little. Dive over, bent knees. Let your head go. Long spine to prepare yourself. Step to plank. Just take some big steps to get you back. Halfway to a push-up, you can drop your knees. Up dog or cobra. Pick what feels best in your body. Either way, hands and feet press firm. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Full exhale, breath out. Your arms stay straight. Look where you want to go. Step or float to the top of the mat. Long spine on your inhale. Exhale, fold. Always let your head go. Root to rise, come all the way up. Make it feel good. Drag it to prayer at heart. Drop your arms. Keeping it really simple here. Arms go straight up towards the sky. Dive over bent knees. Let your head go. Come to the fingertips to prepare. Step. I try to remind myself to alternate which foot I go back with. Doesn't always work. Up dog pulls you through. Definitely have a dominant side. Hips up and back, downward facing. Deep breath in. Spread the toes wide. It's going to activate the shins. Arms stay straight. Look where you want to go. Step or float. Same thing goes when you step. Long spine. Exhale, fold. Root to rise, come all the way up. Drag it to prayer at heart. Drop your arms. Arms go straight up towards the sky. Dive in half. Let the head go. Long spine to prepare yourself. Step to plank. Halfway to a push-up. Up dog pulls you through, or cobra if that's what you're going for. That's cool. Hips up and back, downward facing. Each one gets a little better. It also really helps that it's 50 degrees here in New Jersey today, not 20. The body is much happier. Look where you want to go. Step or float to the top of the mat. Long spine on your inhale. Exhale, fold, let your head go. Root to rise, come all the way up. Drag it to prayer. Drop your arms. One more. Arms go straight up. Dive over bent knees. Let your head go. Long spine sets you up. Step. You can float. If you're feeling bouncy, you land in a chaturanga push-up. Then you move through your back bend of choice. Hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Look to the top. Step, float. Get there light. Long spine, but this time you're going to pause. This is why I have my blocks set here. You can place them even really, really high if you feel tight. Anytime you do this, you're just finding extension. Long spine here. It's not warrior 3. You're just finding that extension, a little softness behind the knees, always, okay? Guide your left leg. Step it way, way back and just pause here. So play with where the blocks need to be, maybe lined up with your toes, maybe like an inch or 2 more forward. It's going to be different for everybody, but you're not all the way out, guys. It's like underneath your shoulders, okay? And always check in with the alignment of your right knee. It has to track over your ankle, okay? Then slowly start to drop the knee down, but do it slow. So the thigh bone's on an angle. Good. Then sweep your arms out and up towards the sky. Yeah. So what I want us to do here, you can have your toes curled. Mine are, it feels better, but you can have the foot relaxed too. You pick, okay? You're going to pull out of it. So just like this, you're going to pull all the way back. So you're straight up and down with that thigh. And then you're going to drop into it. You're going to pull out of it, move on your breath. You're going to drop back into it. You're going to pull out of it, hip points stay lifted. You're going to exhale, drop back into it, and you're going to pause. 3 breaths right here. Grip the right hip in, feel. Hands to the floor, or if you're using blocks like I'm demonstrating, that's great. Zip up that back leg so you're in a low lunge. Make sure the blocks are wide enough apart so you can spring your left foot forward, hips width distance. Long spine, find your extension, pause. You're not folding. Guide your right leg back. Big step, big juicy step. Find the alignment first. Make sure your knee tracks over your ankle. Your spine is long, your blocks, your hands underneath your shoulders. Slowly start to drop the knee down. Do it really, really slow so you feel. Place it down, pause. Then bring your arms up towards the sky, supported lunge. Then we're gonna pull out of it. Good, keep the torso very lifted and then drop back into it. You can do as much as you want. You're gonna pull out of it and then you're gonna drop back into it. Yep, you're gonna pull out of it. You're gonna activate your core as you do it and you're gonna drop back into it and then you're gonna pause here and breathe. Neck is neutral. Good, hands to frame those blocks, the floor, using the blocks. Zip up the back leg, spring forward, find extension and pause, don't fold. Big step back with your left leg. Back knee's not gonna drop this time unless you're dealing with an injury or something's going on, you're welcome to repeat. If not, we're rising this time, high lunge. Good. So you're gonna straighten 3/4 of the way, not all the way. You wanna protect the hamstring. And then you're gonna rebend. Arms stay straight up and down. You're gonna straighten 3/4 of the way. You're going to rebend. One more, use your core. Straighten, and then rebend, pause. Neck is neutral. Hands to frame those blocks onto those blocks. Spring forward, don't fold. Keep extension, lots of extension. Feet are about hips width distance, it's gonna make it easier. Guide, big step back, right leg. Take your time. Zip up that back leg, left knee tracks, then rise. Yeah. So you're gonna straighten halfway, 3/4 of the way, just don't go pin straight. You gotta use that back leg and you have to use your core muscles to support it. And then you're gonna get heavy and rebend. Make sure you track over the knee. You're gonna straighten, zip up, feel, and then rebend. You don't have to straighten a lot. One more, you're gonna straighten, feel the lengthen, soften the shoulders, and then rebend, pause. Zip up that back leg if you can. Energize the fingertips. Hands to the floor, to the blocks, spring forward, don't fold. Find extension, guide your left leg back. Yeah, turn the back foot this time on an angle. So the second I did that, my right hip went crazy, it popped right out. So you're gonna hug it in and then anchor and rise. Now you're in first warrior. Okay, here's the trick with first warrior. If your torso is straight up and you feel like it's going into your lower back, I need you to tip forward a little today. This is a great way to take this pose. So you don't have to be completely straight up. You can be pitched forward a little. Same thing goes, guys. Arms stay active. You're gonna straighten your front leg halfway, 3/4 of the way at most. Then you're gonna get heavy and bend deeper. Try it again. You're gonna straighten, do it slow, zip up the core muscles, rebend. One more. You're gonna straighten, do it slow, rebend, pause. Hands to the ground, spring forward. Long spine, pause last time, guys. Giant step back, big step, right leg. Turn the back foot on a strong angle. The second I did that, my left hip went crazy. So hug it in, anchor through your feet, and then rise. Find your first warrior. Straighten the left leg on track, anchor that back leg, and then rebend. Make sure your knee tracks over your ankle, guys. Straighten the left leg on track, steer the right ribs forward, rebend. One more, press strong, straighten, and then rebend and pause here. A few breaths. Feel. Outer blade of your back foot presses firm. Hands to frame your front foot. This time step to a dog. Okay? Down dog. Then roll forward plank. Then lower halfway. Drag yourself to an up dog or cobra pick. Hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Look to the top of the mat, step or float your feet there. Long spine on the inhale. Exhale, fold. Heavy in your heels for chair. I'm going to take chair with my feet a little separated today. Press up to stand up, drag it to prayer, drop your arms. Here we go. We're going to take 3 sun bees together. Arms go up, heavy in your heels for chair. Dive over bent knees, forward fold, let your head go. Long spine to prepare, step or float through your version of a vinyasa. The up dog is smooth, hips up and back, downward facing. The right foot lands, back foot turns, warrior 1, move on your breath. Hands back down to frame your front foot through vinyasa. You can add or subtract push-ups and back bends at this point. From your down dog, the left foot lands, the back foot turns, rise on your breath. Take your time. Hands back down, chaturanga. Upward facing point. Hips up and back, down dog. Exhale all the breath out. Look where you want to go. Step or float, top of mat, get there light. Long spine, weight stays forward. Exhale, fold. Chair pose, heavy in your heels. Shoot up to stand up, drag it to prayer, drop your arms. Just like this, arms go straight up, heavy in your heels, chair. Sit back, stick your butt back. Dive over bent knees, forward fold, let your head go. Long spine sets you up, step or float through your version of a vinyasa. You're welcome just to go to down dog too, if it doesn't feel good in your body doing all the other stuff. When you get to your dog, right foot lands, back foot turns, rise. Back down we go through a vinyasa of choice. Up dog skims your chest through, hips up and back, down dog. Left foot lands, back foot turns, rise, warrior 1 on that left side. Hands back down to the floor, vinyasa. Up dog pulls you through. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Take a full breath out. Look where you want to go. Step or float, top of mat, get there light. Long spine when you arrive. Exhale, fold. Heavy in your heels, chair. Stick your butt back. There's always a natural little curve in your low back. Shoot up to stand up, drag it to prayer. Drop your arms. So just going to do one more. I don't want to focus too much on these. Arms go straight up, heavy in your heels for chair. Dive over bent knees, let your head go. Long spine sets you up, step or float, vinyasa. Up dog is smooth. Hips up and back, down dog. Right foot lands, back foot turns, rise on your breath, warrior 1. It should feel pretty good at this point. Hands back down, chaturanga. Up dog. Hips up and back, down dog. Left foot lands, back foot turns, rise. Back down we go. If I'm moving too quick, you just slow it down. Not a problem. Up dog. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Take a full breath out. Step the right foot forward, turn the back foot strong. Let's rise. Warrior 1. Yeah. Wrap the left arm under for eagle arms. Yeah. Inhale, lift the chest to create a little bit of a back bend. Hug your right hip in. Exhale, we're going to come into humble with eagle arms. Let the head just drop. So if you're able to slide your right shoulder kind of to the instep of that right knee, that's awesome. If it needs to be a little bit more of like a resting humble, that's cool. Just kind of rest yourself a little on your thigh, but keep your hip points moving forward. Let your head just be neutral or let it go. Steer the left side of your body forward. Grip your right hip in. Really focus on just breathing, inhaling and exhaling, getting a little deeper. Heavy in your legs, pull your torso up. Unravel your arms and let the hands come to prayer over the top of your head. So it looks like this. There's a gathering in of your side ribs. Hands to frame your front foot, vinyasa. You're welcome to just go to dog. Step the left foot forward, back foot turn strong. Rise, warrior 1. Wrap your right arm underneath your left arm. Yeah. Lift up. So it's kind of like you're creating a little back bend, eyes of the shoulders lift. Grip the left hip in and then come forward, humble. Slide your left shoulder to the instep of that left leg. Grip your left hip in and steer the right side of your body, your right ribs forward. Let your head just go or keep it neutral. The feeling that I have is I'm pulling my forearms kind of closer towards the front edge of the mat. That's going to give me more length and more opening. Every exhale takes me a little deeper. Pay attention to that left hip that is not like jamming out. It's got to hug in. Activate your right quadricep. Press strong through your feet and legs. Pull your torso up. As the torso lifts straight up, then the arms open and come to a prayer. You can obviously tip forward a little too. Bring it to the floor, vinyasa. Just keep it going at this point. Yep, up dog pulls you through. Hips up and back, down dog. So your feet and your hands are going to meet in the middle of the mat. So I'm just going to walk my feet in a little closer, walk my hands in a little closer, slide my hands to my hips, and I'm going to come up standing. You can face any direction you want. I'm going to face the camera towards you so you can see. So I just want you in the middle of your mat, facing whatever way you want. Okay, stand on your left leg and draw your right leg up into tree. Grow your branches. Everyone's trees are going to look a little different. Yeah. Grip the hips in. Your branches can be open wide. They can be straight up. You can have interlaced hands. Yeah, just let your body have the experience of this posture. You can close your eyes. You can just move your drishti a little towards the sky. Yeah, and if your balance is a little shoddy today, it's okay. You just try again. Keep the arms moving up, hands separate to shoulder width distance. Float the right foot an inch from the inner part of that left thigh. So it's kind of like a floating tree. The hips don't move in shape. They're exactly the way that they were. Swing the right knee forward, flex the right foot really, really strong. Lower the right foot down and sit into chair. I'm going to do it with my feet a little separated today. Drag the hands to prayer, inhale the breath. We're going to hook and go to the right. So chair twist, you're just facing a different direction than you're used to. If you're not hooking, you're air twisting. You're really working on the alignment of your body, making sure that the feet, the shins, and the knees all line up nicely. Looks good, Reg. You can open up your arms if you want a little more, or just look sideways or look up. Your spine is long. Pull around to chair, but I want you to really commit to this chair. So sit in chair, sit deep. Shoot up to stand up, drag it to prayer, drop your arms. Stand on your right leg and take your left leg up, tree pose. Hands can be in prayer. Open your branches, just find your balance. And work on the alignment of this posture. You want to feel like you could really gather your hips in and your ribs stay lifted. I'm going to interlace my hands and I'm going to go straight up like that. There's a nice opening there, but you don't have to do that. You can close your eyes. You can just kind of find a drishti point that works. Find ease with the posture. Let the hands just separate up to shoulder width distance if they went in any other way. And then go ahead and just float your foot away from the inner part of your thigh. It's like a 2-inch move. Yes, the hips stay nice and open. Keep the arms moving up. Swing the left knee forward, flex the foot strong. So use the core muscles. You're using your psoas here. Lower the left foot down. Sit into chair pose, nice and deep. Drag the hands to prayer, inhale the breath. Let's hook and twist the other direction. So you're going to the left now. It's funny how just changing direction in the pose makes the pose feel a little different. You know, if you didn't change direction, you're just in the posture like usual. Open up your arms if you want more, but really just work on how are you aligned. Make sure your feet, your shins, your knees are all set up here. Your breath is flowing, your spine is long, you're not doing anything funny with your neck. You're looking just sideways or up. Yes, it's amazing how we do weird things with our neck. Pull around to chair, but really commit in chair. Like sit 3 inches lower in chair because you have the strength in your legs to do that. And then shoot up to stand up. Drag it to prayer, drop your arms. Walk to the top of the mat. Yeah, take your blocks so they're there for you, okay? Separate your feet a little bit. Yeah, it just makes it a little easier to balance. Bring your hands to prayer. Soften the right knee and tip into warrior 3. You're gonna tip into warrior 3. I'm gonna take this super bent leg today. Yes. And then the blocks are always here if your balance is just really off. Okay. So just a bent leg warrior 3. We're not here for long. That's the good news. Focus on the standing right leg, grip your right hip in and keep the toes forward. Open slow in a half moon. So I'm going to go ahead and reach down and utilize this block. This really plays with balance when you get in this way. The hip and the foot want to turn. So you got to keep it forward. Stack it open and breathe yourself into an awesome half moon. So once you find the pose, if there's anything you want to add in, like a bind or work on lightness of balance with that bottom hand, this is where you kind of begin to play. Stack it open here, look sideways, look up. You fall from the pose, just re-enter. Try it again. A few more breaths. If you added a bind or working on balance, just find a regular Ardha Chandrasana, regular half moon. We're going to transition to triangle. So move the block with you if you need it, or just take a giant step back, and triangle pose is where we land. It's a little bit of a tricky transition, but I think you can all do it. Make sure your feet aren't all over the place. Yeah. Stack it open. If your hand is on your shin, it's kind of sliding up the shin. So your shoulder slides down your back. If your hand is on a block, I recommend the outside of your calf is kind of the sweet spot. And then breathe. Little bend behind your standing right leg is always helpful. Back foot's on a little angle. Couple more breaths. Hook the hips in. Feel the side ribs stay long. And a sensation that you're leaning back a little. If your neck starts to feel funky, you can always look down. 3 more. Top arm pulls you up, straight arms and straight legs. You may need to widen your stance, bend deep into the standing front thigh. Warrior 2 now. Warrior 2. So sometimes when we have our arms straight for a while, we get a lot of congestion in the shoulders. Relax the shoulders down the back. Play with the display of your hands. They can face forward, they can face up, they can face down. Yeah. And just breathe. Settle into a lot of symmetry in this pose, finding balance, finding evenness. Track the right knee directly over the right ankle. Side ribs long. Maybe close your eyes and let yourself kind of tap inward. Lift the palm reverse. Let the side body get the space that it needs to then come back through warrior 2 and find B variation. I'm going to go with a block to the instep of the foot. Guys, if you're super tight, you can always go 2 blocks like this. Arm to top of thigh. For some reason, you're not home and you don't have your block. Left arm straight up, and then wrap it behind you for a half bind. I love this pose. This pose, you need to kind of prep your body to get into it. We're doing all the right things to come right here and really feel successful in the posture. Grip the right hip in, turn the bottom ribs, look sideways, look up. You want to lean back a little bit into the inner part of that right thigh and breathe yourself open here. Stay with it. Keep turning. Every exhale breath, you turn a little deeper. Use a sharp exhale breath to pull you up. Warrior two. Spread your arms open. Warrior two. Circle it to the floor to a plank. Lean on your left hand for Vashisthasana. And if you have tree pose, bring your right leg up into tree. If you don't, you can drop the bottom knee down. Yep, you can take regular Vashisthasana. Find one that you know you can hold for a few really good breaths. Stacking the hips open, maybe the top arm wraps up and forward. You pick. Two more. Let it go to a plank position. Lower halfway to a push-up of choice. Drag yourself to a back bend, up dog or cobra. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Exhale all the breath out. Look to the top of the mat. Hop, skip, jump, float. Get your feet there this morning and arrive. Long spine on your inhale. Exhale, fold. Set up your blocks because you know you'll probably need them. Root to rise, come all the way up. Drag the hands to prayer and just pause for a sec. So balancing on the left leg is where we're going to go. Start with hands in prayer. Good. Soften the left knee and then just like a pendulum, you're going to float into warrior three. Yeah, so it's like a really slow movement. It's like a tipping of your body. If you need the blocks to help with balance, then go ahead and use them. Really focus on that standing left leg. Foot forward, hip grips in. Then from here, reach for the block, and then you set to open up into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Stack it open. Yeah. And then add in whatever it is that you did on the other side, just so you can be consistent, right? Consistency really is key. If you're binding, the kick goes behind you. If you're balancing, you're just lightening your load. If you're doing none of this, you're just hanging like I am and just working on the basic of the pose, basic asana. Breathe the collarbone, the chest open, stack it open. Grip the bottom left hip in, strong Tadasana leg. Good. If you added anything fun, well, I think it might be fun. Release into regular Ardha. Slow, precise transition to triangle. Move the block with you if you know you need it. Triangle pose. Sometimes you need to pull out of it and come back in. Utilize the block to the outside of the calf if you need a little lift, or pull up anywhere on the front of the shin so you can find what works. Stack it open. Soften behind that left knee. Always reminding you, your back foot has to have a little turn so the hip can rotate. Yeah. And then lean back, look sideways, look up, look down. Anything goes here. Zip up the side obliques. Couple more. Let your left shoulder kind of slide down. Yeah. Let that top arm pull you up, straight arms and straight legs. Widen the stance if it got a little shorter. Bend deep into the standing left thigh and find your warrior two. Now, as you hold your arms up, you're going to feel more here. So see if you can just kind of relax the shoulders away from your ears and then find your drishti. Wrap your inner thigh open. Maybe you close your eyes. Sit a little deeper here. Breathe. Stay with it. Flip the palm reverse. Let the side body get a really nice long opening. Come back through warrior two and bind it up or go right into your version of B variation. Left hand down, right arm can stack open. You can go right to a half bind here. Yeah, grip the bottom hip, turn the ribs and then look sideways, look up. Know the modification, arm can just rest on the top of the thigh. It's a great alternative. Yeah, breathe. Stay with it. So we got to hold a little bit longer to really get into a fascial level here, get a little deeper and start to work a little further into our bodies. Nice strong exhale breath's going to pull you up. Warrior two, warrior two. Yeah, look forward, circle to the floor to a plank. Set up your plank here. We're going to lean on our right hand for Vashisthasana side plank. Any variation, if you can take your top leg up into tree, give it a go. Top arm can wrap up and forward if you want a little more. Always keep in mind that your right hand should be like a smidgen in front of your right shoulder to find your balance. Modify if you need, bottom knee can drop. Stay with it. Hand to frame your the floor, plank position. Halfway to a push-up. Upward facing pulls you through. Hips up and back, downward facing dog. Let's step the right foot forward, crescent lunge. Yeah, crescent lunge. Yep. Wrap the left arm underneath the right arm and let's wrap up into a full eagle. So you're going to guide your left leg around. You don't have to get your foot to wrap around the calf. It's kind of optional. Steer the knees a little to the left, upper body a little to the right. Heavy in that standing right leg as you sit. Yeah, squeeze down the center line of the body. Keep the neck super neutral. Weight to be in that standing right heel. Stay with it. So we've worked a bunch on stepping back. So I'm just going to have you kind of unravel yourself. Arms go open and then guide that left leg back, crescent lunge. See if you can do it. If it didn't work out, that's fine. Drag the hands to prayer, lean out, hook the elbow, and let's twist. You can always drop your back knee this morning if you need a little break here, but let's hook and twist. Yeah. If you're not twisting, you can just stay upright and hold the pose. You can air twist as well. That's good stuff. Point your elbow towards the sky. Yeah, so the top elbow. You could even take your hand into a knuckle into the bottom palm, and that kind of gets the shoulder blades to open. Yeah. Grip the bottom right hip in, activate the left leg. You want to keep a super spine strong, straight spine here. Stay with it. 2 more breaths. It gets hard at the end, I know. Hands to frame your front foot, plank. Plank position. When you get to this plank, very slowly drop down to your forearms for forearm plank. Slow. You can drop your knees to the ground too if you need to. Forearm plank. Lengthen your tailbone. Yeah. Neck is neutral. Draw the belly in. Yeah. Feel the broadening of the shoulders. Neck neutral right here and hold. 5 more breaths. Activate the center line. Activate your quadriceps. Drive into the mat. Split the hands apart, 1 palm at a time. Straighten your arms, plank. Chaturanga push-up. Up dog pulls you through. Hips up and back, downward facing. Land the left foot forward, crescent lunge. Yeah. Wrap the right arm up underneath the left. Then step up into eagle. So you take the momentum to kind of get you in. Foot around the calf, doesn't have to wrap. It could just kind of hang. You could use your big toe kind of as balance too, like I'm showing here. Heavy in that standing left thigh. Weights in that standing left heel. Rather than yanking the elbows down, lift the elbows up. See if you can create a straight line of energy down the center line of your body. So knees a little to the right. Squeeze. Stay with it. So trusting that the body knows where to go. Just unravel your arms. Guide your right leg back, big step, crescent lunge. Guys, you can just stay upright if you're nursing an injury or you're not twisting. This is fine. Hands can come to prayer. Lean out. You can just stay upright like this and take a little baby twist, or you can hook in and get in there. Drop the back knee if you need a little more. Yeah. Rip that left hip in. Spine is nice and straight. Couple more. Give it a little love. Two more. Lean back a little bit. Hands to frame your front foot. Pause. Step slow to plank. Slow transition to plank. Find a straight line of energy. One more time, drop to your forearms. Yeah. You can clasp your hands. You're in a forearm plank. And then walk the feet up for dolphin. Let the head just be nice and free. Wrap the sides of your triceps in. Yeah. Breathe your hips way up off your shoulders. If you want to play with independent leg lifts, you're welcome to. I'm just going to hold here, but I want to hold you here, guys, and challenge you. So I want to hold you and challenge you. So tighten it in, tighten it up, wrap the sides of the triceps in. You can soften behind the knees, draw the belly to the back of the spine, and hold a little longer. Five more breaths. Child's pose. Reach your arms back, grab the base of your feet, let your forehead drop. Good. Arms activate forward, press firm into the mat, curl the toes under, lift the hips, down dog. Let's bring the right knee forward and go to a half pigeon right here. Yeah. Half pigeon and fold. Time flies when you have fun. Yeah. Shut your brain off here in this posture. Let's stay a little bit longer. Good. Use the strength of your body. Start to come up, guys. We did this the other day. Swing the left leg around for sail so it looks like tree. Right hand behind you. You're going to lift up and back. Yeah, plug down. If you get your left foot flat, that's great. If it's not flat, that's fine. Press the ground away. Lift a little higher. Exhale the breath, lower down. Okay, so now you're going to bring your right knee forward, and we have two options. You can take bull seat or double pigeon. So I will show you both. So bull seat, you need to come forward like this, and you need to stack so your left knee is in front of your right knee and your feet come apart. And then you lower yourself down and you sit. A lot of us need to sit on a block, such as this. And it's all about keeping the even distance between the heels and the sides of your hips. You're not favoring one side. So if this really is not your thing for today, I mean, this is an incredible TFL stretch, the kind of connectivity of all the hip flexors and all the hips. You can just take ankle to knee, which is also a fantastic posture and not the prettiest for me right now. So you're going to cross your ankles, and it's called fire log. So you want your shin, your front right shin, to line up with the front of the mat and the left ankle on top of that right knee. The foot actually has to hang off. So I am very far away from the ground. And then you could fold either which way or just stay very upright. Let's see what the majority did here. Yeah. Looks like bull seat 1. 5 more breaths wherever you are. So wherever you are, you have to unravel slow, and I'm going to take you into reverse tabletop just to release the psoas and the front line of the body. So the palms face back, you unravel your legs. Inhale your breath, and on the exhale breath, you lift straight up. I want you to anchor your feet, turn your inner and outer thighs in, broaden across the collarbone, and lift a little higher. Exhale the breath, the butt hits the ground, you cross your ankles. You move through one final vinyasa here, however that feels good for you. The up dog may feel really good. Hips up and back, down dog. And then we guide our left knee forward and we set up to start half pigeon pose, and then fold. We'll be here for about a minute, so make yourself, as comfortable as you can. If all the weight is rolling to the left, you may need a little something underneath your left hip, like a pillow or a little blankie. You can just slide it under there because you want to find even. Quiet your mind and stay. Use the strength of your body, start to come up, lean onto the left side, bring your right leg forward so it's like a little tree. Left hand behind you, you lift slowly up into sail. I like this because it really it stretches the front side of the body. For me, it's a little bit better of a back bend. Good. And it's kind of like where the back bend meets the side plank, kind of like a crossover pose. Exhale the breath, come down slow. Swing the left knee forward, so bull seat. So you're going to bring your right knee in front, and the only way to really get into this pose is to kind of come forward into a little tabletop. Line the 2 knees up, and then sit back. And if this isn't for you, ankle to knee, double pigeon is an alternative pose, or you could just cross your ankles and just fold. So one side of the body always feel a little bit more. Isn't that joyous? You can just stay upright, or if you have more flexibility, you can fold forward. I'm going to hook the big toes and just work on staying upright and breathing. Couple more breaths. Good. Come up nice and slow. Unwind your feet. Take your feet onto the blocks like a set of railroad tracks. So it's going to look like this. Lift your hips up so they're a little closer, and then lay down. You're going to take your first set of bridge with your feet on the blocks. You're going to use your back of your tricep. Just make sure your feet are still set up like they would be in a regular bridge. They're not super far from you, okay? Lift up, bridge pose with your feet on blocks. Keep your neck very neutral. You can also clasp your hands underneath your low back if that feels good. I mean, to me, this feels fantastic. Breathe. You're creating so much space here in your low back. It's incredible. Good. Take another big breath in. Exhale, lower down. You have an opportunity to go into full wheel now or just repeat. So Steph, that was great. Do it again. Here we go. Repeat yourself. Flip your palms, bridge, supported bridge. Yep, go for it. Katie, I can't tell, are your feet on those blocks? Because I think it would actually feel really good. Yeah, it would feel really good for that to give you a little bit of a stretch. Wherever you are is where you are for today. Stay with me though. It's easy right now just to say, okay, peace out. Lift a little higher. Exhale the breath. Let it all go. Yeah, so now take the block underneath your low back and take bridge, supported bridge, because we're gonna bring legs up, okay? So slide your block underneath your low back. Lift up like you're going to bridge, then take the block underneath and then lift your legs up. Yep. Oh, she's bringing you blocks. This is fantastic. Yes, so cute. If the block is at a height that you can get your arms to wrap around, clasp the hands, and that's going to get the cupping of the shoulder blades and give you a nice back bend. Now, if having the legs up pulls on your hamstrings in any way, just have a little bend or a deep bend behind your knees, just as long as your body's aligned like an L. Keep them up a drop longer, everyone. Bend the knees in half, take the feet flat to the floor next, then remove the block out from underneath. And with your feet the width of the mat, let your knees knock in like a big mountain. Yeah, let the knees knock in like a big mountain. Perfect. And then drop the knees like that over to the right. So the feet are wide. So it's like your right leg's in a half Supta and your left leg is going down. Take your hands behind your head and then slide your right foot on top of that left IT band and let the energy of that pull it down closer to the floor. Let the foot slide off and then lift the knees up. Kind of have to move your hips a little to the right and then drop the knees to the left. My hands are still behind my head. My left leg is more bent like a Supta Baddha, but my right leg is more down on an angle. Left foot slides onto the top of that right thigh, IT band area. You give it a little bit of pressure. Let the foot go first. That was a big plop for me over here. Come to neutral, hug the knees in, give them a really even squeeze. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And then set up for Shavasana. And I know a lot of us have distractions at home, like physical distractions. So just do your best. Take some blocks underneath the thighs. Plop yourself open here for the next minute or so. We can do anything for another minute or so. Exhale all the breath out. And if it's available to you to close your eyes, you're really going to restore yourself. Take a big, juicy breath in. Exhale it all out. Bring your arms up over the top of the head. Give yourself a gigantic stretch. Hug your knees slowly in towards your chest and then rock up to sit and just sit up nice and tall. If you stay down and you just want to chill out longer, good for you. If you need to do stuff, I get it. So sit up nice and tall. Let the shoulders slide down the back. Let the hands come to prayer. Bow your head for a second. It always feels great at the end. You know you're done. You know you've accomplished something for today. So if you do nothing else but this today, good for you. Lift your head, open your eyes. Namaste. Go out there. Have an awesome afternoon. I'll see you next time.